Welcome, dear students, to another class of IP. Today, we are going to talk about a new emerging trend, that is grid computing. Before discussing grid computing, you should know about grid. So, a grid is just a computer network. Computer network means connectivity within computers. So a network of computer is known as computer network. So this grid is also a computer network of geographically dispersed. Geographically dispersed means at different locations the computing devices are there, and they are having different types of computational resources. Heterogeneous means different types. Okay, homogeneous means same categorization, and heterogeneous means different types of categories. Okay, so that is having heterogeneous computational resources. As here you can see in the figure that at the center level there is a grid resource, that is grid resource management system, and they are all connected with this. Resource management is connected with users are sharing their resources with this grid resource management system. There can be server, there can be desktop, tablet, smart device, printer, all the electronic devices or smart devices, they are sharing the resources with the grid. So this is the example of grid computing. Okay, so see here how grid computing works. So this grid computing, it is generally used for provide, like we have seen in cloud computing, whose primarily focus is to provide services. Like we have seen in cloud computing, it is just providing the services and we are paying for those services. But in case of grid, a grid is more application specific, that is used for particular application, and it is mainly used in the field of research and engineering, and it creates a sense of a virtual supercomputer where we need a high computation with an enormous processing power. That means it requires high performance power and storage. Okay, so the constituent resources are called nodes. So the resources that we are sharing, they are known as nodes. Okay, so the different nodes temporarily came together. So here you can see the users, they are came together and to solve a single large task to reach a common goal. So in this diagram you can see creation of a grid, at least one computer is required, that is known as server, which handles all the administrative duties for the system. So grid server is there. Okay, the users are connected with grid server, and a network is created, that those are known as grid clients. So these all the grid clients, they are using the services or resources from grid server, and the users, their computation power is used by this grid server. Okay, so a network of computer running special grid computing network software and a collection of computer softwares called middleware. So for using this grid computing, a middleware is required. That is, a middleware is just a, you can say, server that that collects all the computation power from the users. Okay, so this is about the grid computing. So see here, this first point I have already explained to you. The constituent resources are called nodes. Okay, so these different nodes temporarily come together to solve a large task to reach a common goal. So nowadays, countless computational nodes ranging from handheld mobile devices to a personal computer and workstation, all these are connected with each other and they forms a local area network or internet. So therefore it is economically feasible to utilize their resources like memory as well as processing power. So here I am just giving you an example to understand the grid computing concept in a generalized way. Suppose I have given you a work of IP. So in IP we are having 4 units. So as I have given you a work to make notes of all the units, 5 units, so it will be a lengthy task for you to make all the notes. So that can include 500 or more pages of all the units. Okay, but if you distribute this work in between yourself, like for one student is preparing unit 1 notes, and second is preparing unit 2 notes, and third is preparing unit 3 notes. So like this 4 units notes you have distributed within yourself, and then after completing the units notes, you are just combining all the notes and you are making it as a complete notes. So that will be more easier for you to do the work, like you have distributed all the work. So one student can prepare one unit notes, second is preparing unit 2, third is preparing unit 3, and fourth is preparing unit 4. So like this you all have prepared the notes of IP. So for one student it is easy. So similarly, if you are having a large task, so that is distributed among different computation parts, so that is after completion of work they are just integrated together at one place, and that particular integrated nodes, they can be used by other students. Okay, so in this way it solves the problem of high computing. Okay, so the grid provides an opportunity to solve computationally intensive scientific and research problems without actually procuring a costly hardware. Okay, so just remember this example to understand it. Next is types of grid. So grid is divided into two parts. One is data grid. That means it uses the data. It is used for managing large amount of data. That means having a large storage is required. Okay. So used to manage large and distributed data, having the required multi-user access. Okay. So all can access the data from that. But in this grid computing, all the devices, they are not having the access to each other. They just communicate with the particular common grid resource management system, and then through that they can transmit, or they can share the resources. Okay, next, second type of grid is CPU or processor grid. So as the name suggests, it is just sharing the processing speed. So where processing is moved from one PC to another as per the requirement, or a large task is divided into subtasks or sub processes and then allocated to various nodes for parallel processing. Parallel means साथ में, एक साथ में सारी processing हो रही है. Okay, different processors पे. So grid computing is different from infrastructure as a service, cloud service, because in case of infrastructure as a service, cloud service, there is a service provider who rents the required infrastructure to the user. Whereas in case of grid computing, multiple computing nodes join together, that is multiple resources join together to solve a common computational problem. So to set up a grid in cloud services, there is cloud service provider, but for creating a grid, so setting up a grid, numerous node in terms of data as well as CPU, a middleware is required. That is one middleware is required to create a grid. Okay, to implement the distributed processor architecture. So the Globus toolkit is one of the software toolkit that is used for building grids. So that is an example of grid computing. It provides the facility of grid computing, and it is open source also. So difference between grid computing and cloud computing is that cloud computing is proprietary software and grid computing is open source. Okay, and apart from Globus toolkit, there are other examples of this grid computing. As we can see that in data computing there is JPPF, grid gain. Okay, these are the example of this processor grid. Okay, and if we talk about data grid, then JBoss cache, that is also open source, and eCase, that is also open source. So all the grid tools, they are open source and they can be used by universities and research organization. So it includes software for security. In grid, security is the major concern, because without security, the person is getting login ID and password, and that security is a major concern, and without a particular ID, the person can't use the resources on the grid. Resource management, data management, communication, fault detection, etc., it is all managed by the middleware. Okay, so this is about grid computing. Let's see the difference between grid computing and cloud computing. So here you can see the difference between grid computing versus cloud computing. 3 columns are given. First is criteria, second is grid computing, and third is cloud computing. So first criteria is user management. So user management in grid computing is decentralized. That is, users are at different places. But in case of cloud computing, they are at centralized place, that is centralized management. Okay. Second point is dependency. In case of grid computing, other computers pick up the work whenever the computer stops. But in case of cloud computing, they are totally dependent on internet. Okay. Third point is operation. So in grid computing operates with a corporate network, that is for like universities, research, engineering, etc. Okay. But in case of cloud computing, can also operate through the internet. Okay. So it is like through internet it can be accessible. Accessibility, next point, through grid middleware, And in case of cloud computing, through standard web protocols, we can access the facility. Next point is domain, next criteria. Okay, so grid computing, it is having multiple domains, that is heterogeneous domain. And this cloud computing, they are having homogeneous domains. Homogeneous means we can use either platform, either infrastructure, or either software as a service. Scalability, that means in grid computing scalability is normal, but in case of cloud computing scalability is higher, that is feature version, addition of versions, that can be high. Next is architecture. So the architecture that grid computing is using is distributed computing architecture, while cloud computing, it uses client server architecture. Virtualization, that is data and computing resources, but in case of cloud computing, what we are using is hardware and software platforms. Computation, maximum computing is there in grid computing, but in case of cloud computing, it is on demand. Okay, computation. Next is application type. So grid computing, it follow batch application type, while cloud computing is using interactive processing. Okay, so these are the different points. You just have to remember 4 or 5 points, that is enough. Okay, and the difference, once again I have shown here the difference, so it is up to you how many differences you want to remember, and it is also given in Sumita Arora book, you can check that. So see this, again I have shown the difference in different form. So first is grid computing, it is application oriented. Oh sorry, first is yes, grid computing, it is application oriented, while cloud computing, it is service oriented. The resources are distributed among different computing units for processing a single task in grid, while the computing resources are managed centrally and are placed over multiple servers in case of cloud computing, that is known as clusters. Grids are generally owned and managed by organization with its premises, while cloud computing resources are owned by infrastructure provider and are placed in physically disparate location, different virtual locations. Okay, it operates with a corporate network. This grid computing, that point is we have already seen in previous slide, and it also can be accessed through the internet, this cloud computing. Okay, next point is in grid computing, it provides a shared pool of computation resources on as needed basis, but in case of cloud computing, it involves dealing with common problems using various number of computing resources. Grid computing, it is a collection of interconnected computers and network that can be called for a large scale processing task. That means for large tasks, computational tasks. Whereas in case of cloud computing, more than one computer coordinates to solve the problem together. So this is all about the grid computing versus cloud computing. So let's talk about the last topic of this unit, that is blockchain technology. So this blockchain technology is another emerging trend. So let's see what is blockchain technology. So for that, I'm taking an example. Okay. So in this example, there are two friends, Aman and Ashish. Okay. So since they are friends from their school days, during their adulthood, they were also doing business together. So all their financial transactions took place through a particular bank where both Aman and Ashish and their clients made financial transactions. So one day what happened is some common client of Aman and Ashish hacked their financial data from that particular bank and forged it. And then it led to heavy losses and their trust violations of client. Okay, that means they are managing their all the details at one particular centralized place, but that particular data is getting hacked, and then they have to pay the losses. So what they did is, after some time, Aman and Ashish, they have decided to continue the same business, but this time they have decided that every time whenever they are making a financial transaction, it would take place, each connected client would get a printed copy of it. That means whenever they are just making the transaction, they will provide the client a printed copy. So all connected clients would get a printed copy of each financial transaction taking place, and thus would have their own copy of ledger containing details of all financial transaction. Ledger is like a book that contains all the details. Okay, so every time a new transaction take place, all available financial data is compared with the existing database, and then if they are matched, then the transaction is considered to be valid. This happens at all clients end. So if someone try to forge or just deny that particular thing, then this data will not match, and all copies of decentralized distributed data available with them are will be rejected. So like this, they are able to manage a secure financial transactions in their business. So the meaning of saying this thing is that whenever we are using a transaction, in earlier traditional transaction, we are performing a digital transaction by storing data in a centralized database, and the database performed the transactions are updated one by one on the database. That is how the tickets booking websites or banks were operated. But what happens in that case, if that centralized system get hacked, then there will be a chances of loss. Okay, so this blockchain technology works on the concept of decentralization and sharing the database when the computers has a copy of the database. So here in this diagram, you can see that what happened, the someone requested a transaction. So block means a chunk, you can say, in which we are having the data. So blockchain means these blocks are chain means they are linked to with each other, or there is some connection between all these blocks. So if someone makes a request for a transaction, the request is broadcast to all the nodes in the network. So this is a network in which all the nodes are connected with each other. That means they are having a connection. They are not like isolated. So these all nodes are connected, and they are having all the history related to that particular block or other transactions history. So they will just check this, that the current request is of valid or not. So they will check their databases or their as the rules that are defined to them. Okay, if verified by all the nodes, if all the nodes were agree on that particular data, then they will give the permission to that particular database data to get verified, and then after verification it will add it to the particular database that they are already having. So if verified by all nodes, the block get added in the already existing chain of blocks. So these are already existed chain of blocks. So if this particular data is fulfilling the criteria, it will be joined by this block of chain, and then the transaction is getting completed. So I'm just again giving you a simple example, like if somebody want to opt a particular subject or to join a dance class or any other hobby class. So the initial condition is that that particular student has some prerequisite regarding that, or some rules are there. So if that particular student is following all the rules, then that particular student will go to management, and all the subject teachers and management, they are having a connection or link between them. So if that particular student is fulfilling every criteria, so management will say yes, and that particular same yes will be transmitted to the teachers also. So the teachers also having the copy that this student is having this subject, and the management is also having that copy. So that means that student get the validation. This is just an example. Okay, so after getting this validation, the student is added in the existing students of dance. Okay, so like this, they all are connected, and they are known as dance students. So similarly here also this process is happening. Okay, so this blockchain technology, see here in this, traditionally we were using the centralized database, and the transactions performed are updated in one by one manner. But how like this also, the tickets were booked and other bank operations getting done, so that there will be a chances of hacking. So this blockchain technology works on the concept of decentralized and shared databases, where each computer has a copy of database. A block can be thought as a secured chunk of data. Chunk means piece of data or valid transactions. Each block has some data and its header. So in this particular blockchain, there is two parts. One is header part and another is the transaction detail part. So every block is having these two parts. Okay, so such blocks form a chain called blockchain. So they are all linked, so they form a chain, so that is known as blockchain. We can define blockchain as a system that allows a group of connected computers to maintain a single updated and secure ledger. Ledger means like बही खाता जिसको कहते हैं, या बुक जो होती है जिसमें अकाउंटिंग की सारी फैसिलिटीज गिवन होती हैं और जिसमें सारे आपके हिसाब किताब होता है. ओके, तो ईच कंप्यूटर और नोड दैट पार्टिसिपेट इन द ब्लॉकचेन receives a full copy of the database, and it maintains an append only open ledger which is updated only after all the nodes within the network authenticate the transaction. That means जितनी भी nodes होंगी हमारे नेटवर्क में सब अगर उसको अलाउ करेंगी तो और वो जो ब्लॉक आया है उसकी जो डिटेल्स होगी वो पर्टिकुलर डेटाबेस में ऐड होती जाएगी, तो सबके पास वो न्यूली क्रिएटेड कॉपी होगी. ओके, सो सेफ्टी एंड सिक्योरिटी ऑफ द ट्रांजेक्शंस आर एंश्योर्ड बिकॉज ऑल द मेंबर्स इन द नेटवर्क कीप अ कॉपी ऑफ द ब्लॉकचेन, एंड सो इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर अ सिंगल मेंबर ऑफ द नेटवर्क टू मेक चेंजेस और ऑल्टर द डेटा. सो दिस इज अबाउट ब्लॉकचेन. नेक्स्ट इज, see here, the most popular application of blockchain technology is used in digital currency. Now in normal currency all the nodes are having number and other parameters that currency is valid. नकली और असली नोट्स में डिफरेंस होता है कुछ, तो वही डिफरेंस यहाँ पे ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी जो होती है वो जनरली डिजिटल करेंसी के लिए यूज की जाती है. ओके, सो ड्यू टू इट्स डिसेंट्रलाइज नेचर विथ ओपननेस एंड सिक्योरिटी, ब्लॉकचेन्स आर बीइंग सीन एज वन ऑफ द वे टू एंश्योर ट्रांसपेरेंसी. ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी से ट्रांसपेरेंसी आती है, अकाउंटेबिलिटी आती है, एफिशिएंसी आती है बिजनेस में, साथ ही साथ ये गवर्नमेंट पर्पसेज में यूज आता है. एग्जाम्पल के लिए हेल्थ केयर में यूज हो सकता है. बेटर डेटा शेयरिंग बिटवीन हेल्थ केयर प्रोवाइडर्स वुड रिजल्ट इन हायर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ एक्यूरेट डायग्नोसिस. तो डायग्नोसिस में अगर सारे रिकॉर्ड्स उनके पास अब जो भी अपडेटेड या चेंजेस आ रहे हैं वो सबके पास पहुंचेंगे तो वो सिम्टम्स को चेक कर सकते हैं. नए नए सिम्टम्स ऐड होते जा रहे हैं हमारे प्रीवियस सिम्टम्स में, तो वो डॉक्टर्स के लिए हेल्पफुल रहेगा. ओके, प्रोवाइडर्स वुड रिजल्ट इन हायर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ एक्यूरेट डायग्नोसिस, मोर इफेक्टिव ट्रीटमेंट्स कैन बी देयर, एंड देयर फॉर ओवरऑल इंक्रीज एबिलिटी ऑफ हेल्थ केयर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू डिलीवर कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव केयर. अनदर पोटेंशियल एप्लीकेशंस कैन बी फॉर लैंड रजिस्ट्रेशन रिकॉर्ड्स. सो लैंड रजिस्ट्रेशन रिकॉर्ड्स ऑल्सो can be used the blockchain technology to avoid various disputes arising out of a land ownership claims and encroachments. Okay, so a blockchain based voting system can solve the problem of voting alterations. That is the major issue in the voting system, that the vote is purchased or something. Okay, so with this blockchain technology this problem of voting system can be resolved. Okay, so voting can be more transparent and authenticate, and this blockchain technology can be used in diverse sectors such as banking, media, telecom, travel, hospitality and other areas. So this is about blockchain technology. So we have completed this unit. Thank you so much.